Ed Vandenberg is the new pitcher for Cleveland. Ed spent 4 years with the Seattle Ball Club, then was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers last year for Steve Yeager. And Cleveland signed him as a free agent. He was 1-5 last year for the Dodgers. This year he has no wins and no losses. He's pitched in 41 ball games. Has a 6.00 earned run average. That's not being very effective coming out of the bullpen.
Runner at first, 2 outs, and the batter is Gibson. Checked his swing. Gibson is lined out, fouled out, and flied to right field. So he's 0 for 3. 7-4, the Indians lead it in the 6th inning. Pitch is high. Ball 2, no strikes. Ed Vandenberg gets ready. Ball 3, 3-0 to Gibson. Darrell Evans would bat next if he gets on. Tigers have been on the edge of getting back into this game all night.
Don Gordon used to be with the Tiger organization, signed by the Tigers in '82.
Gibson gets a walk. So Vandenberg comes on 4 straight pitches. He walks Gibson. And the Tigers get the tying run to the plate. Two on, 2 outs in the 6th inning. Indians had a runner at second. Tigers had a runner at second, but the Indian pitcher did with 2 outs. Then a single by Brookins. Here's Alan Trammell out of the dugout. He's going to bat for Darrell Evans. Sparky's going to get his hot bat in, the right-hander against the left-hander. Alan Trammell will come on to bat for Darrell Evans.
And Doc just waiting to see if Allen has been put in the ball game, and he looks like he's going to make a move. They've had Don Gordon throwing on a couple of occasions today, and he's going to make the change. He's going to play percentage baseball, right-hander against right-hander. The bullpen for the Cleveland Ball Club is in shambles. Herb Score we talked to before the game and said they need a well-pitched ball game to give this bullpen some rest. Certainly not getting it here today with the injury to Rich Yett, who was pitching very well in the 3rd inning. Jamie Usually came in and actually did a very good job up until this inning. Ed Vandenberg replaced him, and now Don Gordon, who, as I mentioned, was signed by the Detroit Tigers in 1982. He was the 31st selection in the June '82 free agent draft. And he was claimed on waivers August the 10th of this year from the Toronto Ball Club. He pitched in 5 games for Toronto this year. He was called up when Mike Eckhorn was put on the disabled list, and then optioned back when he was taken off of the disabled list. He was 4-6 with Syracuse, which is a AAA ball club for the Toronto Blue Jays, and did very well down there. He had 6 saves, had a 1.70 earned run average.
So it'll be Alan Trammell batting for Darrell Evans with 2 on, 2 outs. Tigers down by 3 in the 6th inning. Madlock is the runner at second, and Gibson at first. And a bouncer to third. That'll get him out of the inning on 1 pitch. Trammell hit it on 1 hop down to the third baseman, who makes the play at the bag at third. Tigers score 3 in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Cleveland 7, Detroit 4.
Okay, a couple of changes. Alan Trammell stays in the game, is now playing shortstop. Morrison now has completed the whole infield. He has played third, short, second, and now is at first base for the Tigers. He has not been behind the plate yet. And we have a new pitcher, Mark Thurman, for the Tigers, a record of 0-1. He has pitched in 37 games, has 5 saves on the year, 51 in the third innings, allowed 65 hits. Tigers hoping that Mark can hold this Cleveland ball club in so that the Tigers can get back in this game. He scored a big 3 runs here in the 6th inning. We have now a 7-4 game.
And for the 4th time in the ball game, the 4th time, mind you, Brett Butler will lead off, which means that Tommy Henzo has made the final out of the inning 3 times, and he struck out all 3 times. Butler's had 1 hit tonight. Singled in the 1st inning, scored a run. He's bounced out twice. 7-4, the Indians lead it. And a strike to Brett Butler. Indians led 4-0, then 4-1, 6-1, 7-1, now 7-4. Pitch is low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy Brookins practically shaking hands with Butler. There's a strike. He got the breaking ball over, 1-2. They got Butler from the Atlanta ball club in the deal that sent Barker over there.
That was a messed up deal.
Oh, from the word go.
The word go. It rumored that he was going to be the player to be named later. And
he was playing regular for Atlanta, doing well, and here's a line drive to left. This is a base hit. He'll have to hurry it in. Nope, he's going to hold it first. A single for Butler, leading off in the 6th inning.
Well, this is what this little guy does best. He just tries to punch the ball to left field. Hit it up the middle, hit it to left field. If you hit it on the ground, you have a chance to beat it out. He's been a very good player since coming over here to Cleveland from Atlanta.
The batter is Julio Franco, who's been on base 3 times tonight. Julio singled, walked again. And he scored a run tonight. That base hit brought Eric King out of the dugout, out of the bullpen again. He's up throwing. Here's a strike. Completing a story on Brett Butler, they got Barker and then a player to be named later, and he was playing for Atlanta and playing well, Butler, and he heard he was the player to be named later with about a month to go in the season. It's not a very good feeling to be playing every day for one ball club and know at the end of the year I'm going to be sent over there as the player to be named later. That's exactly what happened. Oop. I think he was ready to go on that pitch. Strike to Julio Franco with a runner at first and nobody out. He pitched out, but nothing happened. 1 ball, 1 strike. They form a perfect 1-2 at the top of the Cleveland batting order. Butler runs very well. Franco, besides being a good hitter, gets the bat on the ball on the hit and run play. And here's a line drive foul. He was trying to guide it down the right field line and pushed it foul.
That's why Franco is hitting so much higher than he did earlier in his career. Before, he he swung the bat hard and was going for home runs. His batting average has jumped 323 right now, but he's not hitting quite as many home runs. And when you don't swing hard, you have a better chance of getting base hits.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And he goes to first base again. He's keeping a very close eye on Brett Butler. Gary, who works in the Tiger Stadium parking lot, takes care of all of our cars, drove over today, and he just wants to send word to his mom and Christine that he's here. He made the trip all right. This is foul. Gary, who does such a good job shuffling our cars in the Tiger parking lot. One and 2 to Franco. Franco spends about as much time out of the batter's box as he does in. He's out on every pitch, walking away. And
I think he roomed with Mike Hargrove. Whatever happened to Mike? I don't think he's playing anymore, is he?
No, he's not playing. I don't know. I think he's working in the front office somewhere, and it could be right here. Here's a strike, and Julio is out on strikes, and he's telling Greg Koss exactly where it was. Now, you could read Greg's lips. He said it was a good pitch. Pitch is outside to Tabler. They're playing in the 7th inning in Philadelphia. The first of 2 over there. The Dodgers won. Philadelphia won. Ball 2, no strikes to Tabler. Anytime you get a man like Butler, anybody with great speed leading off an inning, you're going to get a long inning. Whether they score or not, there's going to be a lot of throws over there.
It's one of the reasons why the games are so much longer now. You have more speed in baseball, and pitchers are throwing over there a lot more. Yeah, Chuck Wozniak said the faster guys make the game slower.
Good point. Ball 3, no strikes to Tabler. He's worrying so much about Butler, he's going to let Tabler walk down there. Here's a strike.
Tell you what, if you give Mike Heath a shot, he'll throw Butler out. Mike, one of the better throwing catchers in all of baseball, has an excellent throwing arm. All you have to do is keep the first base runner close, and you have a chance.
All 3, strike 1, and he goes to first base again. More than likely, he'll run on this pitch. Tabler makes good contact, and he has to throw a strike. Oh. He gave him a little shuffle there. We're in the 6th inning in Cleveland, the first game of the doubleheader. 7-4, the Indians lead it. And the pitch, there goes the runner, and a foul on the screen. So Brett Butler comes back. 3-2 to Pat Tabler. This game is 4 minutes short of 3 hours old, and we have not completed the 6th inning. There's a base hit up the middle. Nope. Whitaker knocked it down, but he can't make a play. I think Thurman got his glove on it to begin with. Whitaker got his glove on it, but he couldn't come up with it.
It looked like he was going to touch second base and just did not get a hold of the ball. You see there, it just touches the glove of Thurman. And Lou is going to touch second base before the base runner, and he just didn't have hold of the ball.
Sparky's at the mound. He's made a pitching change. The call goes to the bullpen. He wants Eric King. Joe Carter at the plate. Sparky wants to hold them in if he can. The Tigers make runs, and they're only 3 down.
Yeah, that's just one good inning for the Tigers. They can score off of this pitching staff 3 runs. They just don't want to give them any more. So Sparky Anderson has called on Eric King to see if he can't stop this Cleveland ball club. And we told you at the beginning, Cleveland can score runs. It's just a matter of holding them down, getting a good pitch game against them. And so far, the Tigers have not been able to do that.
We're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Tigers 87. Well, Scott Wally has a week's worth of the best from the world of sports on Sports Final Edition. That's Sunday night at 11:30 right here on Channel 4.
Okay, Eric King is the new pitcher. He is the 3rd pitcher used by Sparky Anderson in this game. He has a record of 6 wins and 8 losses. 4.26 earned run average. 42 games. Has 7 saves on the year for the Tigers. 93 innings. He has allowed 82 hits and 47 runs. He's walked 45 and struck out 71.
Well, Eric King coming on with runners at first and second, 1 out, and he'll be pitching to the big power hitter, Joe Carter. Joe is hitless tonight in 3 trips. He's been on base 1 time and scored a run. That was back in the 1st inning. Mark Thurman gave up a leadoff single to Butler. He struck out Franco, and then the single to Tabler, putting 2 runners aboard. Joe Carter having another big year, 26 home runs and 79 runs batted in. He came over in the Sutcliffe deal.
It's a good trade for Cleveland. Actually, it's been a good trade for both teams. Sutcliffe is having a good year for Cubs.
Pitches inside to Carter. 1 ball, no strikes. This fellow not only has good power, but he runs very well. Here's a base hit into left. Gonna run in. Carter drills it hard into left field, and it's an 8-4 ball game. Like he got a high pitch, and he drilled it hard into left field.
Dan Petrie had good luck against him throwing in breaking balls. Eric comes in with a fastball that's up in the strike zone. He hits it hard over the head of the shortstop, Alan Trammell.
And the batter is Mel Hall, who's had a single and a double tonight. Mel Hall batted in 2 runs in the 1st inning with a bases-loaded single. 8-4, the Indians lead it. And a strike to Mel Hall.
It moved well around the left field on Mel Hall. With the way Eric King controlled his fastball, Mel normally swings late on the pitch to begin with.
Oh, he lost his helmet swinging at that one. Strike 2. We said it's been a long night here in the 1st game. It's been a long night for Greg Koss behind the plate. He has seen a lot of pitches from a lot of pitchers. Tigers have used 3. Indians have used 4. And it's strike 2 to Mel Hall. Harry King gets ready. Outside 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pat Tabler is the base runner at second. Joe Carter at first. They can both run. Breaking ball inside. Ball 2 and strike 2. Mel Hall has 10 home runs. And another base hit. Look at a run in. Carter hits for third. Down to second goes Hall, and the ball got away from Gibson. 9-4. And they're having a ball here in Cleveland.
Mel Hall gets his 3rd hit of the ball game. He hits the ball sharply to left field. Gibson comes over and makes the play, and then the ball gets away from him. Mel Hall goes down to second base, so that has to be scored a base hit and an error on Gibson in left field.
And they're going to walk Jacoby with runners at second and third. 4 hits this inning, 3 in a row. Tabler's base hit that started this string came off Thurman. King came on to pitch to Carter. He had a base hit. Hall single. Now they're going to walk Jacoby and pitch to Corey Snyder. Corey Snyder batted in the first inning with the bases loaded and struck out. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Bases loaded, 1 out. 9-4, the Indians lead it. After spotting the Indians a 4-0 lead in the first inning twice in this game, the Tigers have pulled back to within 3. And the Indians came right back. They got 2 in the 3rd inning to make it 6-1. They've scored 2 here in the 6th. And a fly ball into right. Back goes Herndon. That'll get a run in. Throw comes into second. Mel Hall goes on to third. And a sacrifice fly for Corey Snyder. 10-4, the Indians lead it. The batter will be Allenson, who's had a home run tonight. He hit a ground ball with the bases loaded in the first inning through the legs of Brookins that drove in a couple of runs. No RBIs on the play. Then a 2-run homer off his bat in the 3rd inning. So the Tigers get 3 in the top of this inning. The Indians come right back with 3 and a pop fly into center field. Chester Lemon is there. He'll handle it, and the inning is over. They get 3. 3 runs in the inning on 4 hits, 1 Tiger error, 2 left, and at the end of 6, 10-4 Cleveland. Some travel arrangements for the staff of the Tigers are made through Eastern Airlines, serving Detroit with convenient daily non-stops to and from Kansas City. At Eastern, they've got your summer. 10-4 as the Tigers come to bat in the 7th inning of game number 1 of this doubleheader. Mike Heath will lead it off. Jim Morrison and Chet Lemon will follow. Don Gordon is the Cleveland pitcher. He came on in the 6th inning with 2 runners aboard, 2 outs, And he got Alan Trammell to bounce out. Allen getting into the game as a pinch batter for Darrell Evans. Heath has a big rip at it. Mike has batted one time. Bounced out to third base. Matt Noakes started behind the plate. Look out. Heath is hit by a pitch ball, and he'll trot down to first base.
Well, Mike's a little upset, but I don't think there's any way that they're trying to aim at him. But anytime the ball's close to the head, you can see there the ball bounces up, almost gets him in the helmet after hitting him on the shoulder.
So Heath is on. The batter is Morrison. Jim Morrison has had a single tonight in 3 trips. Struck out in the first inning, again in the third. Then he single, scored a run in the 6th inning. Well, those 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning may turn out to be big, big runs. Tigers were down 7-1. They scored 3 in the top of the 6th to make it 7-4, and Cleveland countered with 3 of their own. There's a foul ball. One ball, 1 strike to Morrison. John Farrell, a rookie, making his first start ever in the major leagues, will pitch the 2nd game for Cleveland, and Frank Tanana will pitch for the Tigers. One ball, 1 strike. And he pops it up. Julio Franco will handle this one. So Morrison is out, first out of the inning, and the batter will be Chet Lemon. Chester's 1 for 2 since getting into the game as a pinch batter. He doubled in the 4th inning, struck out in the 6th. Gordon looks like he could be a little bit tough on right-handed batters, Al.
Yeah, he gives you
jerky.
a little peekaboo type of a look at it. You know, he tucks that head behind the shoulder. And after that last pitch to Heath, a few of the right-handers may not want to stay in there too long.
This one's bounced foul. Strike 2 to Lemon. Cleveland has 10 runs on 11 hits, 2 errors. Tigers 4 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors. And a base hit up the middle. Lemon gets his 2nd hit. Stopping at 2nd is Heath. Tigers have him 1st and 2nd for Larry Herndon.
We mentioned how well Chester's been swinging the bat lately. He hits a pitch that looked like it was low outside, maybe out of the strike zone. When you're swinging the bat well, you get those kind of base hits. When things are going a little bad for you, you usually dribble that ball back to the pitcher. But he is seeing the ball real well right now, and so is this guy, Larry Herndon.
Larry's been to the plate twice, walked in the 4th inning, flied to center field in the 6th inning. 2 on and 1 out. Pitch is low to Herndon. Larry batting at .335 with 8 home runs and 40 runs batted in. Ball 2. Ball 2, no strikes to Herndon. And the 2-0 pitch. This may be a double play. Out at 2nd, back to 1st, and they turn the double play. go to the bottom of the 7th. It is 10-4 Cleveland. They have a 10-4 lead over the Tigers. Tommy Henzo will lead it off. Had one more batter gone to the plate in the 6th inning, Brett Butler would have led off 5 times tonight, but it'll be Henzo, then Butler, and Julio Franco. This is the first of 2. And we're going to be here with you till the final pitch tonight. Right, Al Kaline?
You're right. You're right.
Al Kaline promised our crew at the start of the game we're going to be 2 quick ball games and move right along, and this ball game is 3 hours and 15 minutes old here in the 7th inning. We've seen a little bit of everything in this game. Has not been a thing of beauty on either side. Indians have capitalized on most every chance they've had. The Tigers early in the ball game had some chances, and they couldn't get the key base hit.
Well, the Tigers been playing great baseball, and you have to throw one of these games in every once in a while.
This is a fair ball hit right on the line, and down to second goes Henzo. Oh, the little guy, after striking out 3 straight times, lines a double into the corner.
Well, you see where that pitch is in the strike zone. He's been having trouble with all kind of breaking balls, down and in. Eric got the ball up in the middle of the plate, and you can see that pitch much better than the ball down.
So he's at second, nobody out, and the batter will be Butler. Brett Butler's had 2 hits tonight, has scored 2 runs. That double was hit number 12 for the Cleveland Ball Club. Harry King gets ready, and the pitch is low. This little guy batting .299, and he has 4 home runs. One ball, no strikes. That'll make it ball 2. 2-0 to Butler. Strike, ball 2, strike 1. He was taking all the way. Tommy Brookins playing very deep at third. He's been playing right on top of Butler all night, but he's very deep. Pitch outside, ball 3.
I'm sure Sparky feels, and I don't know why, with a 6-run lead, Cleveland's not going to try to bunt on it. But, hey, Tigers can score so many runs the way this guy can bunt.
And he walked him. Pitches inside, and Butler gets a walk. So they have him at first and second. First and second, nobody out for Julio Franco. Julio has been on base 3 times tonight. Single, walked twice, struck out his last time up. Here's a breaking ball for a strike. 1 strike to Julio Franco. 10-4, the Indians lead it in the 7th inning. And a ground ball to first, picked off by Morrison. His only play is at first base. That ball went right over the bag.
Well, Franco trying to go behind the runners to advance them, hopefully to get a base hit. But you see the only play for Morrison is to make the play himself.
Oh, they have him at second and third. One out for Pat Tabler. Pat's had one hit tonight. 1 for 4. And they're going to walk him. They're going to walk Tabler to pitch to Joe Carter. They want to keep the double play in order. Carter singled his last time up, batted in a run.
Carter, a good fastball hitter. He likes the ball up and out over the plate. Early in the game, Dan Petrie made him look real bad 3 times at the plate with a low breaking ball, slider down and away. Of course, it's easier said than done to make those kind of pitches.
He's batting with the bases loaded here in the 7th inning. Only 1 out. And a strike. He got a fastball in about knee high. Carter has 80 runs batted in on the year. And he fouls this one away. Boy, strike 2. Everybody deep on the infield for this big fella. Harry King gets ready for the 2-strike pitch, and Carter steps out. Here it is. Hey, he's got a double play, and he didn't see it. Now he does. Tabler was running. The ball was hit back on a semi-line drive to the pitcher. He turned to third. He was back, then to second, and finally got the runner at first base. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, a couple of walks, and at the end of 7, Cleveland 10, the Tigers 4.
We're going to take a look at this last pitch. This is what you call sawing off the bat. It hit him below the trademark. Front of the bat goes further than the ball. Easy double play.
Now he turned to throw to third. You could see Brookins saying, hey, throw it to first base. Bergman is going to bat for Brookins. He takes a pitch outside. Dave Bergman leading off in the 8th inning, batting for Tommy Brookins. He'll be followed by Whitaker and then Madlock. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cleveland has 10 runs on 12 hits. The Tigers have 4 runs on 10 hits. And the 1-1 pitch to Dave Bergman. It's outside, ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. Game number 2, we'll see Frank Tanana pitching for the Tigers and John Farrell, a rookie for the Cleveland Ball Club. There's a drive that is fair ball into the corner. Bergman makes the turn. He heads for second and safe at
second. Bergman gets the ball up and in on the strike zone, and that's where he likes it. He rifles the ball. It just stays fair down the right field line. Snyder demonstrates a strong throwing arm here. Makes it real close at second base.
And the batter is Whitaker, who's had 2 singles tonight. Batted in a run, and he scored 2. Bergman at second, nobody out in the 8th inning. He bunts right in the air, and whoa. Gordon thought maybe that the runner, Bergman, was the shortstop. He was ready to throw. He realized that nobody there but Bergman.
Lou trying to drag the ball towards first base, but he's a little late. Looks like right there Gordon was going to throw. He thought Bergman was his teammate. Almost fired into center field.
And the batter is Madlock, who's at a double and 2 singles tonight. Madlock doubled in the first, singled in the third, bounced out in the fourth, single, batted in a run in the 6th inning. This single in the 6th inning brought the Tigers to within 3. 7-4, but the Indians came back in the bottom of the 6th and scored 3. Here's one down the line, but foul. Madlock making a bid for a home run, pulled it about 20, 30 feet foul. You get it up around his letters, and he jumps at it. Pitch outside. 1-2 to Madlock. Tigers have a runner at second, 1 out. And here's a chopper down the line, and this is going to be a base hit. I think the pitcher had a better chance of throwing Madlock out, but he stepped out of the way, and Jacoby said, I have no chance to get him.
This ball looked like it hits on home plate. Madlock, who does not run real well anymore, has no problem feeding that out. That is Bill's 4th hit of the night.
Bergman stayed at second. So they're at first and second, 1 out. And Gibson looking for his first hit tonight. He walked his last time up. Pitch is off the corner. Nobody throwing in the Cleveland bullpen. They have a 10-4 lead here in the 8th inning.
They're going to have to save somebody for the second game.
Gibson had a good rip at it, fouled it away. One ball, 1 strike. The hits are even at 12 apiece, but the Indians have a big 10-4 lead. Gordon gets ready. There's a fly ball down the line and left. Mel Hall is there. He'll make the catch. Well, Gibson is out as he flies to Hall in left field, and that'll leave it up to Alan Trammell. Allen has batted 1 time. He got into the game as a pinch batter for Darrell Evans back in the 6th inning with 2 runners aboard. He was a tying run at that time and bounced out. What a fabulous year this young man has had. 20 home runs, 80 runs batted in, 329 batting average. And a strike. Good fastball from Gordon. 1 strike to Trammell. The runner at second is Bergman, and at first is Madlock. Fly ball into shallow left. Hall coming in under it, and he'll put it away. No runs in the inning on 2 hits. Tigers strand a couple. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 10-4 Cleveland.
Okay, another change. Morrison now moves from short to first to third. And Bergman stays in the game, is playing first base.
Morrison has been all over the place tonight. He started as shortstop, and he went to first base. Now he's at third. It's a big, big advantage to a major league ball player if he can play several positions.
You have to have those kind of players, particularly when you're going with just 24 players.
Ball 2. And we're going to be doing the second game as well, so you stay with us. Bernie Smilovitz will be on between games with Tigers 87, and then we'll be right back. This one fouled out of play. Ball 2, strike 1. Eric King delivers. It's low. Ball 3. 3-1. "24 hits in this game, 14 runs. And he walked him. So for the 5th time tonight, Jacoby's been on base. He's at first, 1 out, and the batter will be Corey Snyder. He's the only batter in the Cleveland lineup without a base hit. And he batted in a run his last time up with a fly ball with the bases loaded. There's one deep. He's changed that around right quick. Corey Snyder has just hit one over the fence in left center field.
And that ball got out of here in a hurry. That was a line drive over the 377 mark. And that's number 29 for this young man who, although he strikes out an awful lot, he now has driven in 75 runs and has 29 home runs.
And you are right. It gets out of here in a hurry.
Breaking pitch in the middle of the plate, line drive, and take a look at it. Lemon barely could move before this ball is over the fence.
Makes it a 12-4 ball game, and the batter will be Andy Allenson. He's had a home run in this game. As we look at Corey Snyder again. King delivers low to Allenson. Well, they're having a good time in Cleveland tonight in game 1 of this doubleheader, and a good crowd on hand. Biggest crowd I've seen in Cleveland in a long time. Ball 2, no strikes. And the pitch from Eric King. This will be out of play. Well, you get an idea of how many people are here. You normally pan around the stadium like that, and you see a lot of empty seats, but they've had a good sale for this weekend series with the Tigers. Ball 2, strike 1. Here's a drive to center field. Chet Lemon will put it away. Allenson hit it on a line right straight to Lemon in center field. Second out of the inning, and it'll bring up Tommy Henzo. Tommy had a hit, a double his last time up. He's 1 for 4. Pitch outside to Henzo. Bottom of the 8th in Cleveland, 12-4. The Indians lead it. First game of a doubleheader. Ooh, look out. Ball 2, no strikes. Tommy Henzo has not played a lot. He's had 1 home run and 11 runs batted in. The foul ball. Ball 2, strike 1 to Henzo. 2 outs, nobody on, 8th inning. They've scored 2 this inning on a walk and a home run. is high, ball 3. 3-1. Eric King ready. We'll make it 3-2. Bernazard was the regular second baseman for this club, and he was traded away. Now it's Hinzo. Hooked out off the glove of the pitcher, and they're going to throw him out. That ball was hit like a shot, headed for center field. King deflected it over to Whitaker, and Hinzo is out. They get 2 in the 8th inning, and at the end of 8, Cleveland 12 and the Tigers 4.
A new shortstop for Cleveland, Junior Noboa. It's going to give Franco an inning off to rest up for the second ball game.
Mike Heath will lead it off in the 9th inning for the Tigers. Mike Heath, Jim Morrison, and Chet Lemon will be the batters. 12-4, the Indians lead it in the 9th. And a foul tip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Frank Tanana will pitch for the Tigers in game number 2, and John Farrell will pitch for the Indians. There's a foul on a play. One and 2 to Mike Heath. Gordon has been very effective since he's been in there. Young man came on in the 6th inning. After Vandenberg came on in the 6th and walked the only man he faced, then they brought Gordon in to face Trammell, and he got him to bounce out. And he has not allowed a run. Has given up 3 hits. Pitch just missed on the outside. 3-2 to Mike Heath. And the payoff. Fly ball down the line and right, being chased by everybody, and Snyder's going to catch it. Corey Snyder, coming across the line, picked it off. Well, Mike Heath is out to start the 9th inning, and the batter will be Jim Morrison.
Snyder, a good outfielder. He has a long ways to come on this ball. And it's declared a foul ball.
And that it was. Jim Morrison has had 1 hit tonight. He singled back in the 6th when the Tigers scored 3 times. He bats with 1 out and nobody on in the 9th inning, and pops it up on the first pitch. Joe Carter waves everybody away. Well, Morrison is out, 2nd out of the inning, and it'll leave it up to Chet Lemon. Chester Lemon has batted 3 times since coming on as a pinch batter. He's had a double, a single, and a strikeout. Gordon delivers outside. Rich Yett started for the Indians, was pitching very, very well, and he was hurt attempting to field a bunt. Easterly came on. He's the pitcher of record. Vandenberg to pitch to 1 batter, and then Don Gordon in the 6th inning. Dan Petrie is the pitcher of record for the Tigers. He started. Thurman in the 6th, and Eric King in the 6th inning. And the 1-1 pitch to Lemon. It's high, ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. Ninth inning in Cleveland of game number 1. The 2-1 pitch. He pops it up. Enzo back on the grass. He puts it away, and it's all over. Buster Lemon pops it up. Tigers go out 1-2-3 in the ninth inning. The final score of the game, the Indians 14, the Tigers 4. And we'll be right back. Can you see this? All right, our Miller Lite Tiger player of the game is Bill Madlock. Bill Madlock had 4 hits here tonight in a losing cause, and Miller Lite is pleased to send a $100 donation in his name to the Children's Hospital of Michigan. And we'll be right back. Again, everyone, George Kell and Al Kaline back in Cleveland.
And they'll be facing John Farrell, and we mentioned this will be his first major league start. He won his last ball game in his first appearance. He pitched only 1 inning. That was the 12th inning against the Brewers, and he got the win in his first major league appearance. 25-year-old right-handers. We take a look at the many fans here in Cleveland Ballpark. A lot of Tiger fans come over for the weekend. A little disappointed in the showing of the Tigers in the first game, but they're confident the Tigers will bounce back and win this second ball game for them. John Farrell, George, he pitched 4 years for Oklahoma State University, had an excellent career at that great university, and watched him warm up on the sideline. He was mostly a relief pitcher in college, but it looks like he throws the ball real hard.
Much like Mike Henneman out of the same school.
Absolutely. That's a great university, and they've produced a lot of good ball players.
Al, in the first game tonight, Jamie Easterly got the win, and that is his first major league win since September the 5th, 1985.
That means he didn't get many opportunities, did he?
Well, he hasn't won many since '85. He won over the Red Sox at Fenway Park in September of 1985. Now, Al told you he's 1-0 on the year. He's picked up a win in his only major league game, and that was in relief against the Milwaukee Club in the 12th inning.
He spent the complete season a year ago in the AAA ball club at Buffalo and didn't have a very impressive record. 6 wins and 12 losses. But in his last 5 starts, he was 3-2, and they thought he matured a little later and started pitching much better.
Well, in the first game tonight, in case you missed it, the Indians jumped all over the Tigers early and late, and they won it 12-4. They had 12 runs on 13 hits. Easterly got the win, pitching in relief of Rich Yett. Rich Yett was pitching very well and was hurt fielding a bunt off the bat of Madlock and had to leave the ball game. Easterly came on, got the win in relief. The Tigers had 4 runs on 12 hits, 3 errors. Dan Petrie takes the loss. Dan is 7-6 on the year. And it was a struggle for Dan all the way tonight. He just, as Al Kaline pointed out early, he'd make one good pitch and then a bad one, and it haunted him for the entire evening. Change in the batting order. Pat Sheridan's going to lead it off. Evans and Gibson will follow. And we're ready to go in the first inning of game number 2. Pat started game number 1 when they came in with the left-hander. He went out for the pinch batter, Lemon. Here's a fly ball to left field. Carter moving back, and he'll make the grab. Sheridan hit it well, driving Carter back near the warning track in left field. So 1 pitch and 1 out. Pitch is low to Darrell Evans. 24 home runs for Darrell, 69 runs batted in. And a foul back to the upper deck. Well, before the Toronto Blue Jays take the field in California tonight, they'll have the news that the Tigers lost the first game. game out there will be starting in about an hour. Ground ball to first. So Darrell Evans is out. 2 outs in the first inning. The batter will be Gibson.
Play together. An infielder will go after the ball until he hears the outfielder call for it.
Corey Snyder is the batter with a runner at second base. 2 outs. And a pitch inside. Pat Sheridan is a rather quiet, reserved sort of fellow, and I would think he didn't say much coming in on that, Al.
I couldn't tell on the replay whether or not he was actually yelling for Morrison or not.
And a strike to Corey Snyder. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had 1 hit in the first game. That was a home run. He batted in 3 runs. 2-run homer and a fly ball with the bases loaded. Ball 2, strike 1. Tigers deep on the infield and very deep in the outfield for Snyder. And he pops it up. Somebody in the outfield will handle this one. Lemon calling everybody off, and he puts it away. Well, Corey Snyder out on the fly to center. No runs in the inning. They had 2 hits, stranded 1. And at the end of 2, the Tigers lead it 1-0. The Tigers come to bat in the 3rd inning. They'll be sending up Tom Brookins, Pat Sheridan, and Darrell Evans. Tigers have 2 hits and a walk in this game. Gibson walked in the 1st inning with 2 outs. Then he was out attempting to steal. And with 2 outs, nobody on in the 2nd inning, Jim Morrison hit a home run. Dave Bergman followed with a triple. He was stranded at 3rd base. So that's been the Tiger base runners. Brookins the batter. John Farrell delivers a strike.
It seems like the strike zone's gotten a little bit bigger since we came back.
Tommy thought the delay affected Rocky Rowe more than anybody else. That'll make it strike 2. Well, it's been a long night. These 2 ball clubs started at 5 o'clock. It's now 11:30 Eastern time. And Rocky Rowe says, if I say it's a strike, that's what it's going to be the rest of this game. Tom Brookins had 1 hit in the first game. He singled and scored a run. And he batted in a run with that base hit. Ooh, he got him. Tom Brookins didn't like the call on it. And they better get out there quickly or he's going to be out of the ball game. Well, you can almost read Sparky's lips. He's saying, don't throw him out of the ball game. You're not going to throw him out of the ball game. Among other things. First out in the 3rd inning, and the batter will be Pat Sheridan. Pat hit a fly ball into left field to start this game. He hit the first pitch, hit it rather deep. He takes it low. And the pitch from Farrell, it's fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. You can tell John Farrell is a college product, and the training he's had, he doesn't waste any time. He gets the ball, the sign, and he's ready to go. Ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. Makes it 2-2 to Sheridan. He had a good fastball to hit, and he swung right through it. Ball 2, strike 2 as Farrell gets ready. And a ball hit hard to second base. Oh, Sheridan hit it like a bullet. And he's out number 2.
Sheridan has hit the ball well both times tonight in this game. This ball is hit very hard. Tough play for the second baseman. But he stayed right with it, made a good play.
And the batter is Darrell Evans. Darrell bounced to the first baseman his first time. Darrell had 1 hit in the first game. He batted only 3 times, then Trammell batted for him. No swing. They appealed to Greg Kosk at third base. This one foul back on the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Darrell Evans with a .251 batting average. And he pops it up right at the plate. Here comes all the infielders, and Franco is going to take charge. So a 1-2-3 inning for Farrell. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Tigers lead it 1-0. Here come the Indians in the 3rd inning. Chris Bando, the catcher, will lead it off. Junior Naboa will bat second, and then Brett Butler. First pitch from Tanana. It's low. Oakland got 4 in the 3rd inning. They lead the Yankees 4-0. They're playing in the bottom of the 4th inning. Toronto still tied at 1-1 with California. There's a pitch outside, ball 2. Ball 2, no strikes. Leadoff man in the 3rd. Tigers lead it 1-0. Bando with a big rip at it. In the National League, the Giants winners over Montreal tonight, 6-3. Cincinnati lost to the Cardinals 2-1. Ball hit wide of 3rd, and that'll be a base hit. Tommy Brookins might have deflected it just barely, but it would have been doubtful that Trammell would have been able to throw him out.
Well, the going is real slow out on the infield right now. Tommy roams far to his left. He deflects the ball, and you see Tram could not right himself to make the play. I don't know whether he could have made the play to first base. It's real slippery out there. I doubt if he'd have been able to set himself and make a strong throw.
So a runner at first, nobody out, and Noboa, the second baseman, steps in. He's going to bunt, and bunts it foul.
You were talking about the Giants a minute ago. They made a trade. They got Rick Rushell from the
Oh, did they?
from the Pirates for 2 players, 2 pitchers, I believe.
Well, I tell you, Rick Rushell will be a definite help to that ball club. They took over sole possession of first place from Cincinnati today. Cardinals beat Cincinnati, and the Giants beat Montreal. He was ready to bunt, pull the bat back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals gained ground on both the New York Mets and Montreal. San Diego beat the Mets 6-2. Atlanta beat Pittsburgh 5-4. And a bunt, and they'll have only 1 play, and that'll be at first base. They called him safe at first base. Baltaggio says he was off the bag. So they've got him at first and second with nobody out.
Well, Tommy's way in there. I think he was bothered a little bit by Nat Noakes. And it's hard to judge whether or not he had his foot on there. Tommy not having a good day or a good doubleheader here in the game. Ball is in the dirt. Morrison's afraid the ball might get by him and allow the base runners to advance and score.
Well, they haven't ruled that anything yet. It's got to be an error, I would think, on the throw. Now they put the error. And Butler's ready to bunt. First and second, nobody out. And a good bunter, Butler, at the plate. They're going to have to play in close on him. A strike that'll make it 1-1. Tigers have a system of plays they use for this situation. Sometimes the third baseman will charge when the shortstop will go to third. We'll see what they elect to do.
What they do is Sparky Anderson will relay the play to Alan Trammell. Alan Trammell will then relay the play to the rest of the infield, and exactly what they're going to do on each pitch. So far, they have not. Allen has not gone to third base. He has strictly gone to second base.
They'd like to make Butler hit the ball, but they're going to have to get 2 strikes on him to do it. And it's ball 3, so Frank Tanana is getting in a jam here. Ball 3, strike 1.
Here's how the defense moved. You can see Brookins is going to charge until he sees he doesn't place the ball to third base. He has to get off there in case the ball is coming to him like that.
Oh, hey, that's some kind of good bunt. They didn't have a chance to get him. Tommy Brookins did it about as well as you can, but he didn't have a chance.
Well, this is what's great about having speed. You even know that he's going to bunt, and you can see there he deadens the ball, barehands it and throws, and this guy just has tremendous speed.
Bases loaded, nobody out for Julio Franco. Julio struck out his first time up. This may be a double play ball. Out at second, relay, double play. And in to score comes Bando. That's about the best you could hope for in a situation like this.
Well, all you hope for is that they don't have a big inning, and they still can, but the double play certainly helps. They're willing to give up the 1 run to score at home plate to try to turn a double play, which that's exactly what happened.
So it's a 1-1 ball game. The go-ahead run is at third base with 2 outs, and the batter will be Pat Tabler. Pat Tabler flied to right field in the first inning. There's a strike. Well, they've yet to get the ball out of the infield, but they had the bases loaded with nobody out. An infield single by Bando started the inning. Then a bunt, wild throw at first. Another bunt, a perfect bunt. And here's one right back to the mound. And Tanana's going to get out of it in pretty good shape. Very good shape. Bases loaded, nobody out. They get 1 run. And at the end of 3, we're tied at 1 run apiece. We're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Tigers 87. Jim Morrison will lead it off in the 5th inning for the Tigers. Jim had a home run, his only trip to the plate. Morrison, Bergman, and Lemon will be the batters. Since the rain delay, John Farrell has not allowed a base runner. He has retired all 6 men he's faced. Here's a pop-up right at the plate. Bando, now the third baseman, Brooks Jacoby. So Morrison on the first pitch fouls out. Seven in a row since the delay. 8 straight batters retired by Farrell since the triple by Bergman.
Well, his secret so far, he's been able to get ahead of the hitters. He has not had to come in there 3-0 and 3-1 to the batters. He's always seemed to be able to get that first strike over.
He's pitching to Dave Bergman. Here's a line drive that's going foul down the right field line. David has swung at 2 pitches tonight, and he's hit 2 vicious line drives. He's waiting on the 1-strike pitch. Changed up on him, 1-1. 5th inning of the second game. Indians won the first game 12-4. In this one, we are tied 1 run apiece. And the pitch to Bergman. He pops it high in the air. Wynn playing tricks with this one, and it falls in. I tell you, it is really playing tricks with those pop flies.
The wind is this stadium is so high. The wind, you can't always tell by the flag, but it is blowing so hard towards the outfield. And he didn't even touch the ball.
Looks like a routine play when it first goes up. You think you're going to handle it without any problems at all, and then all of a sudden you are in trouble. They score that a hit, a 2-base hit for Bergman, and the batter is Lemon. There's a long drive, well hit toward left field, and it's going to be caught against the wall. Oh, Carter went back and made a whale of a play. He never did get that one up in the wind.
Chester hit it hard, but it was a line drive and right to the base of the wall. You see there, he had a good swing and a breaking pitch that was inside. And Carter broke in and then goes back and leaps and catches the ball. Bergman tags up and goes to third base. Good play by Carter, who has been playing strictly first base. Every once in a while, will play in the outfield.
So Bergman tagging up, going to third. He's there with 2 outs for Tommy Brookins. Had Chester gotten that high in the air, it would have sailed out of here without any problem, but he hit it on a line, and the wind didn't have a chance to help it. Tommy Brookins struck out his first time up. And a strike. One strike to Tommy. That'll make it 1-1. He's been throwing nothing but hard stuff to Tom Brookins. Got him on a called 3rd strike back in the 3rd inning. Here's a fly to left. That'll get him out of the inning. Carter is there, puts it away, and the inning is over. Tigers get 1 hit, strand a man. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still tied at 1. come the Indians in the 5th inning. Junior Noboa will lead it off, followed by Butler and then Julio Franco. Toronto and California are playing in the 6th inning. They're tied 1 run apiece. Oakland has a 5-2 lead over the Yankees. They're playing in the 6th inning. Baltimore and Seattle are tied 1 apiece at the end of 3. Noboa was safe on an error his first time up. And a pop fly behind second. Morrison backing up. So there's 1 out in the 5th inning. And the batter will be Brett Butler. Milwaukee a winner tonight. 3-0 over Kansas City. Barker gets the win. Danny Jackson takes the loss. He's 6-15 on the year.
Well, what a year. He looks like he throws a lot better than that. And Paul Molitor extended his hitting streak.
36 for that young man. 36 straight games. Here's a strike to Butler. Boston jumped all over Minnesota tonight. 11-3. Clemens the winner and Viola the loser in that one. Clemens, after a very slow start, has 13 wins. Viola, suffering the loss, is 14-8 on the year.
I think Clemens also leads the American League in shutouts.
Here's the pitch to Butler. One ball, 2 strikes to Brett Butler. He's batting with 1 out and nobody on. Chicago beat Texas 5-1. Long is the winner. Gilgus takes the loss in that one. The 1-2 pitch to Butler. We'll make it 2-2. Brett Butler had a bunt single his last time up. He struck out in the 1st inning, singled in the 3rd. Ball 2 and strike 2. Up the middle. Here's Morrison on to 1st, and Butler is out. Out number 2, and the batter will be Julio Franco. Julio struck out his first time up, then with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 3rd inning, he bounced into a double play.
Franco has been the best hitter against the Tigers this season. Came into this doubleheader batting .316 against the Tigers this year.
There's a perfect bunt now. Julio got it on the ground, and nobody had a chance to make a play on that. A bunt single for Franco.
Yeah, there's no shot here. He gets a perfect pitch. Ball out over the plate, drops it down. The only chance is Tanana, and best to hold on to it because you might throw it in the right field.
And he'll run. You see Franco taking the big lead at first base. He had a stolen base in the 1st game tonight. Pat Tabler, the batter. He's flied to right, bounced to the mound. They know Franco will run. Could have called a balk there. Tanana gave him a quick pitch. Tabler says, what was that? Nobody called a balk. Nobody made a move. The rule says you must come to a stop out there, and Frank did not. One ball, no strikes. Chuck Wozniak wants to know about a curfew. I don't think there is a curfew on the last trip into town.
I thought it's the American League rule. No inning can start after 1 o'clock.
I asked the question of Danny O'Brien when he was in here a moment ago. He was a little bit vague, but I thought he said no curfew on the last trip into town. There goes the runner, and a foul ball. Julio Franco never did look back to see where the ball was, and he slid into second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They have 3 guys that run for the Cleveland Ball Club. Of course, Brett Butler, Franco has 25, and Carter has 24 stolen bases. So they have 3 guys with great speed.
This fella likes to run. Tigers know that. California's just scored a run to take the lead over Toronto on a home run by Devon White. His 21st home run of the year.
How about California sending Pettis back to the minor leagues?
Surprised me. But he has not been hitting well. Not at all. Fellow with his speed, and he's batting .211, I believe.
I think it's best for him to get out of the California. He has not done well there the last couple of years. You think he'd be able to hit the ball on the ground enough time to hit 250?
It's ball 2 and strike 1 to Pat Tabler. He pops it up. Let's see if Bergman has a play over near the dugout. Nope, this one's in the dugout. That's twice that Bergman has been right to the top step of the dugout, just out of his reach. Indians have 1 run on 6 hits. Tigers have 1 run on 3 hits. It is ball 2 and strike 2 to Pat Tabler. There he goes. And a base hit into right. That'll send him to third, and they better get it in the infield. He'll make the big turn. On the hit and run play, Tabler lined the ball into right field.
Well, this was executed perfectly. Of course, he's hitting on his own, but he sees the ball, and he sees Morrison covering the bag. Slow breaking ball, and he's just able to place it out to right field.
So they've got to get the very dangerous Joe Carter with runners at first and third, 2 outs. He's had a single tonight, 1 for 2. And a base hit into left. He hit it hard past Brookins in the left field, and a 2-1 ball game. Tommy made a dive for it, but that ball was hit very hard.
Good fastball hitter. He knew he just missed a breaking ball his last time up. And he figured he wasn't going to see another breaking ball, and he jumped on a fastball. He likes the ball up and out over the plate.
So 3 straight hits after Tanana had retired the first 2 batters. Pitch is low to Jacoby. Brooke Jacoby had a single his last time up. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball 2. This all started with a 2-out bunt single by Franco. Tabler on the hit and run play, single to right. Joe Carter single to left to drive him in. Now it's ball 2 to Brooke Jacoby. The pitch, it's a strike. He floated the curveball over. Ball 2 and strike 1 to Brooke Jacoby. Strike 2, another slow curveball. Evens the count at 2-2 to Jacoby. Indians have taken the lead 2-1 over the Tigers here in the 5th inning. Ball 3. Ball 3, strike 2.
Mike Henneman is warming up for the Detroit Tigers. He just got up.
Carmen Castillo would be the next batter if Jacoby gets on. He walked him. Well, the bases are loaded for Castillo. Mike Henneman throwing in the bullpen for the Tigers. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tanana got the first 2 batters, then 3 singles and a walk. There's a line drive into left for a base hit. That's going to get 2 runs in. And it's a 4-1 ball game. Carmen Castillo jumped on the first pitch, and he drilled it hard into left field.
Frank just not getting the ball down in the strike zone. When he's pitching well, he's throwing that fastball low outside corner. This time he's hitting the outside corner, but it's up in the strike zone.
Now Sparky's coming out. Well, they've had 4 hits and a walk after the first 2 batters had been retired.
He's made the sign. He wants Henneman from the bullpen. Well, Frank struggled somewhat here tonight. I don't think he had his real good stuff. He didn't have good control, wasn't getting his breaking ball over the way we've seen him in the past, and his fastball was up in the strike zone.
Well, while there's a break in the action with the score Cleveland 4, the Tigers 1, we're going to pause for this word.
Mike Henneman now pitching for the Detroit Tigers, and he has been somewhat of a lifesaver for Sparky Anderson and the Tigers. He has a record of 8 wins and 1 loss. 2.08 earned run average. He has pitched in 37 games, has 3 saves on the year, 65 innings, allowed 56 hits, 18 runs. He's walked 16 and struck out 50. And George Shaw, we now have 2 pitchers that pitched at Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir. John Farrell for the Indians and Mike Henneman for the Tigers. Corey Snyder is the batter. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. It's been that way for a long time. 2 outs. Indians have picked up 3. And the pitch coming up to Corey Snyder. 1 strike. He had a big rip at it. Snyder flied to center field and struck out against Tanana. Runner at second is Jacoby, and at first base Castillo. And a foul ball. Strike 2. Indians reached Tanana for 9 hits tonight. 4 runs, and the 2 out there now belong to Tanana. Good stop by Noakes.
That's the split finger pitch that Mike likes to throw when he's way ahead of the batter. He might throw it again, and then he'll go right after him after that. But he has a good one. Just a matter if he can get it over the plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And he struck him out. Mike Henneman comes on to get a big strikeout and end the inning, but they get 3. 3 runs for the Indians on 4 hits. Strand a couple, and at the end of 5, Cleveland 4 and the Tigers 1.